This is TWiT.
Myriam is a regular around here, and she's also an expert on mobile technology, most recently at Pebble. But you also cover mobile technology for Engadget, right?
That's right, yeah.
So we thought, who better, and she speaks French. So we thought, who better than Myriam Joire to review the new BlackBerry?
Yeah, so you know, as a Canadian, it's a Canadian company, as you know,
right,
that has had its struggles over the last few years.
See, I almost said Canadian, and every time I say that about you, you say, no, I'm French.
Well, I'm both French and I'm Canadian. It's complicated, but you know, I really travel with my Canadian passport because that's the smart way of doing things. You know, BlackBerry's gone through ups and downs, and
mostly down lately.
Downs, very much, yes. And so they just launched this phone here, the BlackBerry Classic.
I'm kind of excited about this because they've tried other form factors. The Passport was weird, and they did the
Z10 and the Z30, which were full screen.
And so, kind of copying what modern smartphones do. But this was the original smartphone. It's kind of nice to get back to the original form factor.
Exactly, and so that's why it's called the BlackBerry Classic, because it's back to the classic format. Specifically, they were trying to go after their most successful product, the Bold 9000, which was a very large for its time phone with a very high resolution screen for its time and a leather back, a real leather back.
This looks is about the same size as the Bold?
It's bigger, actually.
Well, I brought my old Curve out.
Let's put them side by side.
And this is my old BlackBerry, and you can see there's a big difference in size.
Right. But
this is the last BlackBerry I had right before actually when the iPhone came out, I had this. And I replaced it.
So the Classic, you know, it really is, it's actually a very smart thing. I think that's probably the best BlackBerry ever made. And because it combines like all the modern thing you'd expect that BlackBerry 10 brings on the table. It's 10.3, so it's the latest version of 10. And it combines it with really exquisite hardware. I have to say the hardware, you know, we're traveling back in time, really. If you pull this out, like I was using it for the last week, and people see it, they're like, what is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, my God, have I traveled back in time? Is this 2004 all over again? Because it really feels that way.
And yet, it's very much updated. I mean, that's a beautiful
it's very much
screen
updated.
I've ever seen in a BlackBerry.
It's very dense and
heavy.
You could throw this at your worst enemy and destroy their face, and the phone would be fine. It's really remarkable. So, you know, as a good business tool should be, it's also a weapon.
Built like a tank.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, you know, the takeaway is that if you are given this by your employer right now because you work in a big enterprise,
and they still use BlackBerry.
It wouldn't be a company, it would be an enterprise at this point. You could do much worse than this. It's a very productive device. You know, certainly BlackBerry still has quite the chops in terms of productivity. The BlackBerry Hub is a really cool feature. It integrates one inbox.
Would you, because I think a lot of us hadn't seen BlackBerry in a while, just move the phone over to the right. Give us a little demo of the
So, you know, it's first of all, the whole thing is a touchscreen, but the Classic is the first phone to bring back what they call the toolbar. So
I remember those.
You have the call button and the hang up button.
Right.
You know, earlier I was accidentally calling voicemail and I couldn't figure out how to hang up because I didn't think that.
I forgot about
those.
I
was like, there's nothing on the screen.
But if you look at, hold my old Curve next to it, those are physical buttons, but they were there.
Right, so that's the toolbar. And it's got the back button and the BlackBerry button. And then the trackpad thing that you can use.
So they don't do the little pearl ball anymore.
But they'd gone to this trackpad thing a while before they had a touchscreen.
And I actually like it.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're used to that, you can go back to the old days. But the touchscreen obviously works. It's a 720 by 720 pixel LCD panel.
And I'll vouch for the quality. It's a good looking
screen. Very nice screen. It's probably IPS. It's hard to tell, but it's not OLED like the Q10 was, which is the previous QWERTY BlackBerry running BB10. And it's a large screen. It's 3.4 BlackBerry, 3.5 inches for a square screen is a pretty big screen.
Isn't that funny though? That's the first iPhone.
That's the first iPhone, right? Yeah. But not in this form factor.
Not square. Yeah.
The keyboard is incredible. This is what really sells this product. Here's one cool thing about it. There's all kinds of shortcuts. If I lock the phone, you know, I can unlock it by you know, scrolling up like that, like I was doing, or using the power lock key. But you can just go enter.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like all these old shortcuts are still there. You want to start the browser? Hold the B button down.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
It starts the web browser, right? So these are things that are still there. You can use the space bar to scroll through web pages. So if you know the shortcuts, it's very productive. And I think if you want to plow through a bunch of emails, this is definitely a very good candidate of a phone.
That's kind of what the BlackBerry
And that's really
was all
what it's about, right?
Yeah.
So for email, calendar, communication in general has BBM, and the hub here is kind of like this unified inbox.
So yeah, describe the hub, because that's kind of
so
new.
you see all your emails here all lined up. I don't want to show you all my email, but it's kind of cool because it aggregates Twitter, Facebook, BBM, text messages, all your email accounts
in one inbox.
In one inbox, and you can choose how to prioritize them.
That's nice.
And it's really easy to kind of keep track of what you're doing. It also supports Android apps. So
this I find weird. How well does it support Android?
So it has the Amazon App Store. That's how well it supports Android apps.
So I see
they have their own app store here.
I see Instagram.
So they have their own app stores for their own apps, and then Amazon for Android apps.
That's probably a good way to handle this.
They install seamlessly. So
is it emulation or?
No, it's running a Dalvik virtual machine, just like an Android.
So it is an Android phone.
It's a total Android-capable device.
Right.
So I've got Flickr, Quadrant, and TuneIn and Vine that came from the Amazon store. But of course, Instagram. There's no Instagram on the BlackBerry store, and I looked for it on the Amazon store, couldn't find it. But I sideloaded the APK.
You can sideload an APK.
But you have to find the right version that works.
Okay.
So about 5 seconds of Googling, BlackBerry Classic Instagram, and I found an APK and I installed it.
Now, how fast is it? Does it run
I'll show you.
Snappily?
It's just fine.
Actually feels pretty much like Instagram on anything
It's just fine. And then here's what's interesting. You can pull this down, and it doesn't always work. But
this is the multitasking?
There's a way to set what resolution you want to run this at. So you can run it at a higher res, but the text is a little harder to read now.
Right.
And it's kind of, again, hard to get to this thing, but you can run it like an Android device resolution. And now it looks, there's bars on the side.
Right.
But it looks, proper aspect ratio. So that's one interesting little thing about running Android apps.
That's smart, because BlackBerry will never have the apps in the App Store.
And so, here
but
you
this
are,
way you get a good selection of Android apps.
And it runs fine. Like, there's no emulation here. It's just a virtual machine on top of it.
So this is an ARM chip inside.
Yes, so what's interesting is spec-wise, this is a Snapdragon S4 Pro. So that was it's dual core. So that was top of the line when the HTC One S and One X came out.
So it's a few years old.
2 generations or 3 generations back.
Okay.
2 gigs of RAM though.
That's good.
Lots of RAM, which is good for multitasking. And by the way, this is how multitasking works. Every app ends up as a
nice.
So you see as you can see, the UI in native, not Android, is very, very slick and smooth, despite the hardware being a bit old. But it does chuck down. Here's one thing that I was really disappointed was. Just using the phone while listening to music, every now and then you hear pops and crackles, like as if the decoder can't keep up.
That's disappointing.
And I know that's a bug because there's no. I mean, the Snapdragon S4 Pro can play back audio,
music's
no
easy.
problem.
Video I can understand.
But it's very disappointing that it can't handle that. And the camera is serviceable at best.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets the job done. Here it is.
I took some pictures of Chad before.
I'll show it. I'll show it right now.
How's the sound quality? Is it decent speakers?
Yeah, so that's always been a trademark of BlackBerry, and taking calls sounds really good. The speakerphone sounds pretty good. You get none of that tinniness. It's a bit more fuller.
Yeah.
It's nice. And here's Chad looking fabulous as always. Again, the camera does the job.
Look at this though. You could pinch and zoom. So this is something you don't really expect on a BlackBerry phone. But just like an iPhone, or you can just zoom in.
So there's Chad.
And you'll see that it is kind of soft once you see the JPEGing of it.
I took some pretty decent pictures.
This one,
look, this one's pretty sharp. Like, you can zoom in and see the spokes of this. This is in Sausalito this weekend. But it's mediocre in general. Like, at low light is not really great.
Do you know how many megapixels?
It's 8. 8 autofocus LED flash. 2 megapixels in the front. As you can see, this is how you run tasks, right? You can kill them. You can say, I don't want Instagram anymore, and off it goes.
I kind of like this.
This really well, look, BB10 OS is really nice. I just wish that they were running, if this had a Snapdragon 800, and could actually decode music while you do something else properly.
I understand why it doesn't.
I mean, really,
odd.
battery life is pretty good because it's got a big battery.
What kind of battery life you got?
Probably, it's easy to get a day. I would say you could probably get 2 if you were careful.
Okay.
I mean, it's a productivity-heavy device. I think, as I said, if you issued this by your employer, or if you're a hardcore BlackBerry person who really misses the day of being productive on a device that will feel like a BlackBerry,
because it has a
this
real
is your phone.
keyboard. And the BlackBerry keyboard
and the keyboard
was great.
is an unbelievable
kind
one.
of the curved-in domed.
You can start searching too anytime here in the home screen. Like there's a Cortana-like assistant as well. Yeah. Let me bring it up. I can go like, who is Leo Laporte?
He used to have a BlackBerry phone, but now I don't know
who is Leo
who he
Laporte?
is.
It got that spell right. Let's see if it gives me a result. It's on LT on AT&T right now. I don't know.
Is it AT&T only?
No, this is
Leo Laporte.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
I don't know if it's you, but it is.
Me.
It's you. It is. This is an unlocked phone. It'll work on any of the GSM US
So you buy
carrier.
it from BlackBerry Direct?
Yeah, it's $450.
Unlocked?
Unlocked.
Unsubsidized. That's not bad.
Not bad, right? It's built like a tank. Let me give you a quick tour if the camera is still running here.
Yeah.
You got, the battery is sealed, but you've got a micro SD card slots and nano SIM slot. You should put a pin in there to take them out.
Yep.
Only 16 gigs of built-in storage. You'll probably need an SD card.
Okay.
It's got headphone jack, standard headphone jack, the BlackBerry power lock key, volume rocker, and in the middle is the mute button, which is also used for, you can program it to do other stuff, which is really kind of cool. And then the bottom here, the nice speakers and a micro USB charge and data port. And, this is a pretty standard configuration for a modern phone. As you can see here, camera, LED flash, little classic logo, BlackBerry logo. I mean, in terms,
I am tempted, I have to say.
I love the hardware, but I tell you that what lets it down is still the software. I like the intent of the software, the user experience, like the idea of the multitasking.
Yeah.
The hub is really nice.
Yeah.
They have this this other feature that lets you basically pair your device with your laptop, and you run an app that they provide. It's called Blend, BlackBerry Blend. So you can remote control your BlackBerry from your laptop.
Wow.
So, like, you want to send a text message, your BlackBerry's in your pocket. As soon as it gets on your Wi-Fi network and it recognizes that it's near a device that it's authorized to connect to, it lets you basically remote control the entire BlackBerry from your laptop. So you can start sending a text message without pulling your phone out of your pocket, or answer a phone call without pulling your phone out of your pocket. Kind of like, the thing on iOS, what's it called, and Mac OS? Continuity.
Yeah. Pros and cons on this.
So pros, gorgeous hardware in terms of, well-made, nice industrial design. I think it's a good-looking phone.
It is heavy. It's 6 ounces.
It's well-made.
Yeah.
The drawback on, and this would be in the cons, is that the chips are a little dated now, right? Outdated. Yeah. Other pros, I would say, if you want to be productive and you're really into the BlackBerry, in the old way of using the BlackBerry, you want to go back to that very seamless, productive experience of being able to use the keyboard for everything and occasionally use a touchscreen. And it can be very productive, as you know, from your old days with the Curve.
I still could type faster on a BlackBerry than anything else I've ever had.
That's another pro. The keyboard is an absolute pro. Cons, so the Android compatibility is a bit of an issue because you can't really install the Google Play apps in any way, shape, or form, right? Unless you start hacking away. And there's the selection on the Amazon store is very limited. The selection on the BlackBerry store is very limited.
You don't buy this for apps.
You don't buy this for apps.
Yeah.
And you don't buy this for multimedia. But those are the drawbacks. Multimedia and apps are lacking, and the camera is definitely lacking. So those are cons for me.
The people who should buy this are people who are BlackBerry fans, who want a state-of-the-art BlackBerry. I think
this
they're
is
so
the best
smart
BlackBerry
to go.
ever.
They're smart to stick with their strengths.
Yeah, it's definitely a time machine as well.
Now I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. Buy it, try it, don't buy it.
I would say don't buy because I know kind of what the audience of this podcast and this broadcast is interested in.
Our fans.
They want a device that can do everything, versatile, right? This is not it. I would say. But there's a subset of population out there that I really believe will enjoy this device.
If you are a BlackBerry fan and you want that classic BlackBerry look and feel and typeability and productivity, how about the notification? I saw you just got a notification.
I just got from George.
How do notifications work?
So it's all in your BlackBerry hub.
It's in the hub.
So they all appear in the hub. So I
like that hub. Yeah, we don't want to show your secret stuff.
But it pops up really briefly, and it appears in the hub. And the hub is available by just sliding over like this anytime.
This is a business tool. This is not a recreational. It is a business tool.
It was very easy to set up with all the Gmail, calendar,
that's a good
all
question.
that just worked.
Works with Google stuff.
Everything just worked.
Now, I use Google Hangouts for my SMS. I wouldn't probably be able to use that.
No, but there's an SMS obviously
just
built
have
in,
the
and then
SMS.
there's BBM.
And BBM is cross-platform.
It's cross-platform.
Yeah.
So, of course, you could potentially install some sort of IM client
Right.
for Android that's compatible with Gtalk. There is a few
Right.
that are not Hangouts,
Right.
because you could sideload the APK.
Right, right.
But it starts getting, into the, if you're a productivity person, it's not something you're going to do on your own, right?
No.
Like,
As long as my Google Calendar works with it, my address book works with it.
Look, I mean, the Android compatibility here is a crutch. It's not really something you want to rely on.
It just to
I
give
mean,
you-
even to get Instagram on there, I had to actually get, I actually had to find an APK.
I know.
It's not even in any of
know.
the stores. It's
know.
kind of ridiculous. But so I'd say don't buy simply because of your audience. For some people, it might be a buy.
If you're a BlackBerry fan,
It's. I have to say I'm really impressed with the hardware. That rim you see is all metal.
Yeah.
It's actually metal.
It's actually much better than I
and
expected.
The bottom half is plastic for the signal, which is
Right.
really clever.
but you look at my old BlackBerry,
mean-
it's all plastic.
Right.
It's kind of cheesy
No,
compared
this
to
is
This is all.
Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, this is like.
and it's hefty too.
Yeah. By the way, notice I had the TWiT logo on the back.
Yeah, of course you did. This could, as I said, it could be used as a weapon. You could weaponize your. If you're an IT person and you watch this and you want to give your hard productive workers a productive tool, that's also a weapon, and that also lets them travel back in time to 2004. This is your phone.
It's
There
a
you
time
go.
traveler. I think that this would be a phone for somebody who has two phones, one for home fun and one for work. And this would be the work
I think
phone.
that's what Joanna said on her review
Yeah.
at Wall Street Journal.
She loves it.
I mean, because she's a hardcore old school BlackBerry fan, but she also admits that for multimedia and stuff, it just didn't cut it.
It's a
And
letdown.
it's sad because I know they could do it. QNX, the core of the OS running behind there,
great
is
OS.
really great.
It's very
and it
real-time
just
OS.
I think with Snapdragon 800 and I'm refining the software a little bit. And maybe, fully opening it up to Android would maybe make this an interesting alternative. But right as it stands today, it's a don't buy.
Myriam Joire, thank you
You're
for
welcome.
your review of the BlackBerry Classic. It is a classic.
And it is a classic,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.